Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Manish Shrestha, working as Assistant Professor at Haryana School of Business, GJ University of Science and Technology, Hisar. Today we are going to discuss about the topic compensation and business environment. Before starting the discussion, let's have a look at the contents. The discussion will start with the introduction of the topic, followed by compensation and business environment, impact of compensation on workplace, and it will end with a summary. After completing this module, the students will be able to understand compensation and business environment relationship and the impact of compensation on workplace. The knowledge capital of an organization is the key to success and victory in the marketplace. In the economy, geographical boundaries have become a history. Capital is ample, product developments happen quickly and cheaply, product life cycles are rather small, and willingness to switch jobs is strong. In such an environment, committed, intelligent, technically literate individuals who have vast experience, possess international stature, and are operationally agile, providing a strong competitive advantage to the organization. Such combination of skills in employees is in limited supply but in high demand. It has been strongly reiterated time and again that resources of intangible nature are more important contributors to a firm's success as compared to tangible resources. Among intangible resources, the most rare, non-imitable, non-substitutable, and valuable resource is the human resource. Acquiring, sustaining the desired human resource is the most daunting task for the organization. A firm's success and survival depends upon the resources as well as the extent to which it can be adapted to the environment in which it exists. Various internal and external factors have a direct bearing on the performance of a firm. Firms have to establish a firm environment fit to achieve its goals and objectives, and effective fit can be developed by proper assessment of internal as well as external environment. The internal environment of any firm depicts its resources of all kinds, their management, their leadership, etc., whereas the external environment reflects its business opportunities and threats posed to the business. These internal factors are independent from the firm working. Therefore, for formulation of strategy, it is important that both organizational factors, that is internal and external environment, should be well pitched with each other. The internal environment of a firm basically consists of its mission, objectives, management structure, all available resources, value system, company image and brand equity, and various other constituents such as financial, physical assets, research and technological capabilities, and marketing resources. On the other hand, external environment of a firm can be categorized into micro and macro environment. Micro environment is the immediate environment of the firm, such as its local competitors, customers, suppliers, intermediaries, and the public. The macro environment includes demographics, natural, technical, economic, cultural, and political environment. The major factors that have a bearing on the compensation policy of the firm are supply of labor, legislation, state of economy, impact of culture and compensation design, and cost of living. Let's consider them one by one. Labor supply affects the compensation amount that a business must offer to its employees. In an economy where unemployment is high and the number of qualified candidates is higher than the existing job opportunities, the compensation offered is generally less. When there is a shortage of qualified candidates in the market, compensation lands are generally high. Since multiple firms compete to hire the talented candidates, compensation should be competitive enough to be able to attract and retain deserving candidates, but at the same time it should also not be too high as endanger financial competitiveness of firm. Labor cost forms a very essential part of operating budget of a firm. Hence, a firm should have control over these costs. Legislation. Compensation system should be such that they are consistent with the existing legislation in various areas such as human rights, labor standards, equal pay, pension or retirement benefits, occupational health safety and more. Some of the laws which have bearing on the employee compensation are Minimum Wages Act 1948. It states that the minimum rates are determined by central government as well as the principal government by considering cost of living. Payment of Bonus Act 1965. Unless it is mandatory to pay bonus to every employee who has worked for a minimum of 30 days drawing a salary wage exceeding rupees 10,000, and any organization that have minimum 10 employees is required to pay gratuity to its employees under the Payment of Gratuity Act 1972. Every organization, while fixing compensation levels, must take into account the above laws and many more. To ensure the compliance with the current legislation, companies must review government websites, human resource toolkits, and seek legal help regularly. Auditing the compliance with the current legislation is essential for ensuring sustainability. State of economy. Compensation level structures also depend on the state of the economy. In case of a depressed economy, there will be oversupply of labor which will result into fixing of lower wage rates. Another important factor which affects the compensation is cultural issue. A cultural issue includes corporate culture of the organization and the local culture in which organization operates. Compensation programs which are highly effective in a home country if they don't follow local culture values. Successful compensation approaches vary according to the type of the organization. For example, compensation approach of the ownership driven structures of small high technology group will be very different from the compensation approach of more traditional service and responsibility driven structure in the smokestack industry. The effectiveness of using rewards as a motivator is influenced by cultural attitudes about motivation. In group oriented societies, individual pay relativities are not very effective. More powerful motivations are those centered on the fulfillment of group aspirations and potential. In group oriented societies, motivation must be based on rewards which recognize the group rather than the individual. Programs that are focused on differentiating individual performance are not liked in these groups oriented societies. Pay for performance is often linked to the success of a company as a whole and long-term horizons. In addition, differentiation may be constrained by respect for age and rewards may have to be operated around a built-in age escalator benefit is mostly less flexible and perquisite play a very important role in rewards. Cost of living means the amount of money needed to maintain a certain level of living. It includes basic expenses like food, cloth, shelter and health care. Cost of living is generally used to compare how costly it is to live in one city as compared to another city. Cost of living has a direct influence on the compensation of employees because with the increase or fall in the general price level and the consumer price index, the wage or salary has to be changed accordingly. Whenever the cost of living increases, compensation has to be increased accordingly so as to maintain same standard of living. Compensation includes monetary as well as non-monetary benefits given to the employees. It includes an employee's base salary and additional benefits such as health insurance, retirement plans, and performance bonuses. Compensation package offered to employees govern the organization recruitment rate, retention, and employee satisfaction rate, etc. Several federal laws affect the compensation that business offers. A business owner must understand the importance of compensation and the laws related to compensation in order to remain competitive in the market. Recruitment is the function of HRM. It is the first step in the process of appointment. Recruitment is the process of attracting, selecting, and appointing suitable candidates for the job. Recruitment can also refer to process involved in choosing best individuals from the pool of applicants of job. Managers, human resource generalists, and recruitment specialists may be tasked with carrying out recruitment, but in some cases, public sector employment agencies, commercial recruitment agencies, or specialist search consultancies are used to undertake parts of the process. Internet-based technologies to support all aspects of recruitment have become widespread. The compensation policy in the organization has a direct impact on the motivation level of its employees. It is imperative to understand how various theories of motivation are having a relative understanding the motivation compensation relationship. Motivation is a set of processes that arouse, direct, and maintain human behaviors towards attaining a goal. Motivation is a force that initiates behavior externally as well as internally. Motivation is actually everything. Even the best of talents cannot deliver to their full potential until and unless they are motivated. It is the employees who have the ultimate power to boost or reduce the profitability of the organization. Motivated employees can do wonders for attainment of organizational goals. Motivation can be either intentional or directional. Intentional motivation is when a person intends to work in a particular fashion, while directional means some driving force is drawing you towards attainment of a specific goal. Researchers have introduced various motivation theories. These theories are dependent upon needs, goals, job design, society, etc. They also depend upon the people on which they have to be implemented. For example, the needs of Generation X and Generation Y vary, and so do the sources of their motivation. Generation Y has a vast inclination towards morality, intellect, loyalty, etc., and so prefer maintaining good relation with peers over money making alone. Generation X, on the other hand, is more individualistic and materialistic and treat own needs much above the organizational needs. Hence, respond more to extrinsic motivation, that is compensation. Hence, motivation all kinds of employees is an Herculean task with the HR manager. Within an organization, employees learn exorbitantly from their organizational peers, culture, environment, managers, and so on. The core of social learning theory is self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is the concept that a person can perform effectively in a specific situation. Such judgments influence our selection of tasks and goals, our extent of efforts, and the time stretch for which we will work. Another fact that influences our self efficacy is the positive expectations that others have from us. That is, the fact that others believe about our high levels of performance motivates us to live up to their expectation. To conclude, high self-efficacy employees work harder and better, give better results, so better is the organization performance and better compensation. Operant conditioning theory. Behavior makes you learn. This type of learning is called operant conditioning. Behavior is affected by motivation from within and by reinforcement externally. This reinforcement includes compensation hikes, bonuses, promotions, praises, and awards. Goal setting theory. Every individual has one's own priorities, needs, personal values, skills, efficiencies, and perceptions. Motivation comes from his own identical goals. To achieve higher goals, one works harder and assumes higher compensation. The goal setting theory indicates that the efforts put in by an employee are undoubtedly a reflection of his seriousness and level of his goals. Job design theory precisely identifies the various tasks involved in completion of a job and the relationship of these tasks with the performance and satisfaction of the employee. Originally, a model developed in Japan asserts that the variety of tasks, identity and significance of tasks, and their autonomy and feedback leads to psychological conditions which are directly related to internal motivation, quality of work performance, job satisfaction, decrease in absenteeism, and employee turnover. Expectancy theory. Expectancy refers to the belief of an individual that a particular result will be obtained if a specific behavior is followed. In other words, an employee perceives that if he or she exerts a particular level of effort in completing a task, a specified level of performance will be attained. Further, a desired hike in compensation is bound to happen if the employee has performed at a particular level. Finally, the employee will see himself achieving a particular goal in accordance with the compensation. Based on his satisfaction with the achievement of goals, the motivation and efforts will continue. The perception of the employee that good performance will lead to higher compensation motivates him to improve his performance. In any organization, if compensation is not linked to performance, the employee will not at all be motivated to perform better. Equity theory. It proposes that every employee compares his own efforts and rewards with others in similar work conditions. This theory strongly recommends that individuals are motivated by an urge to be treated equally at work. A key management role here is the maintenance of this perception of employees about equity at workplace. If an employee feels that this performance and rewards are similar to that of other similar employees in the organization, he shall remain motivated and perform well. ERG theory. This theory reiterates the Maslow's need hierarchy, but it proposes relatedness and growth. Existence means needs related to food, air, water, pay, etc., which are necessary for existence of self and family. Relatedness means needs associated to meaningful interpersonal relationships. Growth refers to needs satisfied by an employee contributing towards the organization according to his knowledge and skills. To summarize, when one level of needs is satisfied, the other automatically starts progressing towards satisfaction of next level of needs. Another aspect of this theory is that apart from satisfaction progression rule, there is also a frustration regression process. If an employee is not able to satisfy or fulfill his needs, his frustration forces him to redirect his efforts toward exploring other ways to satisfy the lower order needs. So, compensation has to be motivating enough so as to retain the employee. Theory X and Theory Y. In general, people are considered as bad. This pessimistic view assumes that generally people do not want to work on their own. They have to be forced, supervised and threatened. Theory X believes that employees have no goals, they want to avoid responsibility and their major ambition is security. It also symbolizes carrot and stick philosophy that rewards are to be combined with punishment to keep the employees motivated. On the contrary, Theory Y believes that people are inherently good. This optimistic aspect of human behavior reflects that people naturally work just like they play or take rest. Employees' attitude towards work is dependent on their earlier job experience and the organization's existing work environment. If they can correlate their personal goal with the organizational goals, they will automatically perform and will not be required to be forced or supervised or punished. If given adequate encouragement, they will not only seek responsibility but will also exercise adequate creativity in carrying out their duties. In Theory X, compensation works as motivator to give desirable results if employees do not expect raises, bonuses, etc., they do not work hard. On the contrary, in Theory Y, employees work hard to gain respect and recognition. Compensation just complements their self-motivated behavior. As these employees are already motivated, compensation only does the job of satisfying their material wants. Two sets of factors that are motivators and hygiene factors. Motivators are intrinsic factors which consist of work, responsibility, growth, prospects, achievement and recognition. These factors cause happiness within an employee. All these factors are basically related to work. Hygiene factors, on the other hand, are not directly related to work but to surrounding conditions. They are also called as extra job factors and they include organizational policies, peers, supervisors, subordinates, working environment, personal life, living standards, etc. In other words, hygiene factors may not motivate employees, but they surely prevent dissatisfaction. So, compensation may not motivate employees, but it surely prevents dissatisfaction. Also, rewards like recognition, achievement, status, etc. are necessary for motivation. The need of the hour is that organizations have not to just offer better compensation, but more importantly, assure job satisfaction, career growth, skill enhancement opportunity, job security, status progression, etc. The third component is retention. Retaining productive employees is the most difficult task for human resource today. Retaining employees saves companies resources and time spent in training and helps to maintain an efficient and knowledgeable workforce. Health insurance and retirement packages are benefits that employees desire from their employers. A sense of a belonging and apart from ownership is must. Companies that offer such environment have a much better chance of retaining workers. Other ways to retain employees is through regular promotions, which not only provide an employee with a higher base salary but also the ability to take on more responsibility in the workplace. Promotions and increments are very strong motivators that play a key role in retaining employees. Have proved that employees who work with an organization for longer periods prove to be very asset and are very good for the overall health of the organization. Retention is directly linked to compensation, which works positively for the organization's growth. In order to retain employees, an organization may adopt certain measures such as keeping the salary competitive. Each employee is keen to know whether his compensation is competitive with what others who perform similar work or not. Compensation may not be the highest in the area but should definitely be among the top. With low compensation levels, top people will leave the organization and low performance will take their jobs. Well-rounded benefits. Owing the high cost of health and life insurance, including them in employee compensation package is a big plus point to retain employees. If your company has stock offering dental care, vision care, along with overall health benefits, may prove to be helpful for the organization's stock options, may also be an added advantage. Raises, bonuses, and awards. Raises are an excellent way to keep employees, especially in times when peer organization isn't giving them. The more significant the raise, the more motivated the employee feels. If salary raise is not affordable, bonuses may be offered. They go a long way towards showing appreciation without involving the company into commitment of higher salaries. To summarize the discussion, a firm's success and survival depends upon the resources as well as the extent to which it can adapt to the environment in which it exists. Various internal and external forces have a direct bearing on the performance of a firm. Firms have to establish a firm environment fit to achieve its goals, objectives, and effective fit can be developed by proper assessment of internal as well as external environment. The internal environment of any firm depicts its resources of all kinds, their management, their leadership, etc. Whereas the external environment reflects its business opportunities and threats posed to the business. These internal factors are dependent from firms working. Therefore, for formulation of strategy, it is important that both organizational factors, that is the internal and the external environment, should be well pitched with each other. The internal environment of a firm basically consists of its mission and objectives, management structure, all available resources, value system, company image, and brand equity. It also includes various other constituents such as financial and physical assets, research and technological capabilities, and marketing resource. External environment of a firm can be categorized into micro and macro environment. Micro environment is the immediate environment of the firm, such as its local competitors, customers, suppliers, intermediaries, and the public. On the other hand, the macro environment includes demographics, natural, technical, economic, cultural, and political environment. Happy learning!